Hello, guys. My name is Brenda Awira. Those that don't know me, I'm the founder of Paint and Chat Uganda. The main reason we have Paint and Chat is to have a safe space where we can share about different topics, about the life we go through every day. So, this being a Valentine's week, we decided to have a Valentine's edition, which is why we have love and relationships. So, what we are going to be doing is we have amazing people here that are going to be sharing the different topics that were chosen by some of you guys. You may not know who chose, but some of you guys picked the topics. We'll be discussing those, and we'll be calling you guys in to comment on what we are sharing here. And then you have some cards, some conversation cards on your tables, different conversation cards. We shall find a way of picking who answers. If we could pick a gentleman to pick a lady from that side to maybe answer the question on their table, anything will be coming to you. So feel free. That's why we're in a backyard right now. We are not in a serious building somewhere in the office. That's why we're here in a safe space at Safe Places Uganda. Feel free. And I hope to enjoy the day with you guys. And thanks for coming. So, okay. I'm sorry. I'm going to introduce to you our panelists today. We're supposed to have three. We're supposed to have two therapists and one amazing podcaster. He has a lot of things that he does, but as for today, we know him for that. That is, no, sorry, I'll start with the ladies. We have our in house therapist. She works here at Safe Places Uganda, but she has been with us from the beginning of Paint and Chat since last year, from the launch. At every edition, she has been there. So we call her our in-house therapist. That is Angela. She will tell you maybe her other name if she wants to. Yeah, you're welcome, Angela. And then the amazing podcast I talked about is none other than Mark Keron. I think he will tell you more about himself as he answers some of these amazing topics. Yeah, Mark, you're welcome. Angela, you're welcome. The floor is yours.
Okay. Did you guys didn't hear what we said before? Oh,
For real?
oh, really? And you were just keeping like
No, it's
there was nothing like we can't hear you. You were just let us keep talking to ourselves. Okay. So once again, my name is Angela Laino. I am a psychologist. I work here at Safe. So now I'm a bit okay. So do I
just go on. Just
Okay, so my name is Angela Laino. I am a psychologist. I work here at Safe Places Uganda. Just a little bit about Safe Places. Safe Places is a mental health hospital, so we do everything around mental health care, treatment, prevention. We have an out and inpatient facility, so we provide mental health care on the outpatient basis. That's where someone will come in for like counseling, one-on-one, marriage therapy, see a psychiatrist, things like that. Then we also do inpatient care, which can be for a psychiatric disorder or for addiction rehabilitation. Yes, I also shared that I love having conversations with people. I love being in spaces like this. So I look forward to interacting and learning from each and every one of you this evening. Thank you.
whenever I have to introduce myself twice, I have to introduce myself very differently from the previous way I introduced myself. But my name is Mark Keron Wamala. I am a Ugandan. I podcast. I keep having conversations with people. So I am a host on the Big Conversations by Ordinary People podcast. Basically, what we do is really sit down with just about anyone and have conversations. You don't have to be an expert at anything. So, yeah, consistently doing it. We've produced about 210 episodes now, both visual and audio. But I also lead the team at Uvotam, where we are a production house. We are heavily investing in content, and we believe that is king. So, the very good gentlemen you see with cameras behind you, a part of my team. They're also my very, very close friends. So I happen to be working alongside with them on literally everything I'm a part of. So, like everyone, really, I'm in Kampala, and in Kampala, you have to struggle with love. So I am here on this panel as someone struggling with love to like really give my experiences and maybe what I have learned so far in my 29 years of living. That's it.
So you have some cards on your table. I'm going to pick randomly. Yeah, just give us an opinion. You read out a question that is there, and then you answer according to what you think.
Uh,
Hi everyone.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lisa. The question is it important that your friends are close with your partner? For what? I mean, the partner is mine, not theirs. Like, you can be not friends, acquaintances on a high basis because, I mean, you don't want to be rude. Yeah. So when you meet my partner, say hi, be cordial, be courteous, but friends, again, for what? No.
community.
Can you vote someone else?
Oh, the gentleman in the chat.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I go by the names of Lukwago Derek, and my card says, "How important is your family's opinion in your dating life?"
Very.
I'll answer this with I think, in my own opinion, my family, because the person that I'm going to be with, not the family that's going to be with. So I think first things, the family wouldn't matter in the first things. I have to know the person first things, then maybe uh, after we've known each other on a personal level and I see we are fitting each other, then maybe the family can come in. But I don't think if I've really made up my mind that I'm going to be with a person, that a family can change the way I think or the way I feel about the person. So I don't think the family matters. All that matters is me and my heart.
Last time everyone
Yeah.
spoke.
So with that,
This time she's
I
just
share.
going to spot pick a few people.
Am I supposed to choose? Okay. I'm supposed to choose who's going to, okay. A lady, the glasses.
My name is Sophie. I'm not sure the question is very convenient.
Okay. Hope I get you a safer one.
Okay. Um, how do you express yourself in extreme cases of happiness and anger? I don't. Yeah, I simply don't express myself. Why? It's instinctive. It's instinctive. Yeah. The lady at the last seat. The lady in glasses.
Because we start with our name. Again. Looking back on your, hi, my name is Olga. Looking back on your dating history, what dating advice would you give yourself now? Um, um, mm, I don't know. Don't wait to bend till you break on compromises.
Mm.
Yeah, you can only compromise so much till you break. Yeah, thanks. They're not big words. That, yes, Mama. Thank you. Come. Let me finish it.
Okay, we'll be coming back for another round. For now, let's have our panelists today pick a topic for we should discuss.
So we like just pick. Well, there are two, so I'll pick the very first one. Effects of social media on relationships today. So of course that's more like a two-faced coin. There are definitely negative and positive effects social media has on relationships. To the thrill of it, it's really how we meet people. Personally, I think one of the best relationships I've had was off the internet, but it has ended up to be one of the very worst. So, but from it, I learned that you can be loved wholeheartedly. Then, because of course of the type of generation we are in now, social media plays like a very
So loud.
okay, yeah, it's so loud. And here. Yeah, so social media is like a big part of our lives. You cannot you it's part of us. You cannot stay away from it. So that involves how we interact with people who we meet. It's the connection. Our opinions are shared on there. So they're actually also like sub points where you are communicating what probably is in your mind and it's misread. So the positive there is someone can learn to maybe love you better because they have a glimpse into what you are thinking. They have so much data to work with. So take it like a large language model. Right now, say like Twitter's AI Grok. What makes it really the best thing is because it can it sieves data from it also sieves data real time, right? It has people's reactions to different topics to what. So you also as someone dating in this type of generation, you are also almost working with the same data. So you know that okay, because my partner is like this, maybe football it's something that keeps them happy. This is what they think about that. So maybe I learn to give them more space to go and watch their soccer. So that is a plus to it. But also because, again, the negative there becomes when you're oversharing, there's so much insecurity that comes from that. So you probably leave your partner feeling some type of way. Maybe they're not enough. Maybe, and of course, since Instagram is really the best marketing tool right now, people only put on there what is like a success. So there's you live a facade of life thinking that say at if you from like an age bracket, say you're dating and you are in your 30s. In Uganda, people in their 30s, unless otherwise you're doing software engineering and you have you're being outsourced, that is when you have access to money that is more than say 15 or 25 million at the age of 28 to 20 averagely. So you cannot simply afford things like trips to Bali or what. So, but when you see these things happen and people, this is what they are almost living, that their normal lives, they're every day, every week they're posting, they're in a different city. Then you think to yourself like, wow, where's the progress in my own relationship? So there is that as a negative effect. But also, the admiration is not so bad because when you see things, you learn things, you admire things, and you want to do things. So to me, it's two-way. There is no win or lose. It's just really understanding the balance and maybe learning, communicating better, because you cannot do away with it. And also, it's such a great tool in terms of networking. It helps people. People are laughing on Twitter the whole day. So you cannot say that, you know what, since now I'm in a relationship. I've always thought to myself, when I get married, because when you go to my social media, I always get this in boardrooms when I go to say take on contracts for people I work for. And a few people reference my social media. It's a bit very dirty because most of the time I'm tweeting what say lyrics from Kanye West or Lil Wayne, or like that is what I've grown up listening to. What hip hop music? It's idolizing maybe say money and women and models and what. So I believe that my social media is just really about me and my personal life. So most of the things I put on there are just that. So when I reach into a space and then they use, say, a tweet against me, I'm thinking this is also how relationships work with people. So most of the time, from my previous relationships, my partners have always felt like what I tweet is, say, my reality, and it has affected how maybe they think they should love me, which is a bad thing, right? But then also it's not something, there's like compromise. So now I understand that maybe if I tweet something like this, it might affect my person. So also that helps me to like really communicate better. So to me, it's really two-way. There's no win or lose between using social media.
Is your social media your reality?
A little bit of it, because you see, it's say what platform, right? So if it's say X, it's initially it was what is on your mind. So you are supposed to tweet what is on your mind, and our minds are very, very dirty places, right? What's on my mind might not be my reality. Yep, it's composed of what I consume, right? So yeah.
I don't agree.
Why don't you agree?
I don't agree that what's in our minds does not define us.
It doesn't.
You are what you think.
No.
It means what you're consuming all the time. You're becoming it. And if someone sees your social media and they judge you according to that, they are right. So
No, they're not.
they are right. So
No.
where do you share the actual news? And
Okay. So tools are predominantly designed to seek attention. So by default, they cannot be our reality because you will only see a post from me that resonates with maybe your life state because of how much data you've been giving the application, right? So you'll see a sad post from me because maybe you went and retweeted a few sad things and the algorithm picked that up and you're in a sad mind. So the only posts you will see from your friends where, because again, that is what the applications are selling to the highest bidder, that, you know what, we understand this person. So because we understand this person, because this person is giving us so much of their data, we are assuming we understand them. So because we understand them, we are saying, you give us money and we bring you we make sure that whatever product you're selling go to the right audience. So that means that it is going to automatically manipulate what I am saying. Like I told you, now, for example, for me, most of my social media is really full of say lyrics, right? I'll be in a moment, because again I listen to so much music and it's what keeps me going. I will listen to a line. I'm mostly a hip hop fan, so I listen to a lot of Lupe Fiasco, Lil Wayne, and Lil Wayne has like punchlines, right? So I sometimes put those as tweets. Now, if I am in a relationship, that can be misinterpreted, right? So to be something like, you know what, on my 30th birthday, I want to have maybe a room full of models. That is what I want, and I'll treat something like that. So my partner will think that, you know what, look at this guy, what? All he wants is like, wait, so many more other women, right? But that is just a feeling. I just sent that out because it's a moment. And then it is not really my reality, but it's just part of the data I'm giving. It's not my reality, right? Because it is not. It is just something I've seen. It is not what I want. This is why I'm committing to a relationship in the first place. But there are fantasies in life, right? We all have fantasies outside of how we live.
Your fantasy.
But if you choose to think about it and then write it out there, it means you want to portray something about of that kind, because without it, something else. But then you decided to keep that.
Let's hear from
Maybe
Angela.
because I'm your partner and we think about it, and I know what kind of life you are living in, and I know my thing. I'm like, you're
Just to answer you, okay, when you're my partner, first of all, you're supposed to really have an understanding of who I am, right? This is the importance of the dating process. This is no, when you hit me yesterday, you don't become my partner.
Yeah, your opinion.
Let's hear about you and social media and relationships.
So sorry. I think from where he started, just on how social media has the good and the bad, for sure, yeah? I think there are certain things that we've noticed are off in our relationships through different posts on social media, right? Yeah? Or things that where you're just able to say, hey man, I have a good partner off of just seeing someone's post on social media. Or someone is talking about, you guys, my partner has never taken me out on a date. And you're like, what? I go out on dates with my partner every week. You get to see that you're able to sort of get an appreciation towards your partner because of things that you have seen or heard on social media. But I do believe to a certain extent that our social media platforms are extensions of us. And I think for me, let me try to just personalize it, because for me, I actually do believe that my social media is an extension of me. So what I post on my social media is what I believe. You get? I'm not going to post content that after that I'm going to be able to stand and defend it. Do you get? I'm not going to post something of someone speaking and saying something degrading to whatever gender, whatever class, and then after that I'll just be like, no, it was just in that moment. No, So yes, so for me, I do believe that our social medias are extensions of us. You will post things that you like, things that you don't like. Like I don't like this, or I like this, or I agree with this, or I don't agree with this. And I also think it's very important that when we are in relationships, we care about those things, because there's an impression that you're selling, in my opinion. I don't know, if you are in a relationship and your partner is constantly posting things that are degrading about relationships, or posting things that are degrading towards women or degrading towards men, or constantly posting things about how relationships are not the place to be, or constantly posting things about how being in being faithful is not the thing. you're definitely going to see those things and they're going to affect the way that you relate in your relationship. You're not just going to be like, oh no, that's his social media. When we are together and we are talking, he agrees with being faithful, but he's putting out an impression that he doesn't. So for me, I will look at your social media and I will tell you, we are not doing that here. Like, no, you're not going to post about how cheating is okay and then come and tell me that cheating is not okay. So which one are you on? Do you get? Like, I don't know. But yes, your social media, it does affect your relationship, the way that you interact with it, positively and negatively. Yes. Hi, Sharif.
Hi, I'm alright. How are you? Can I come back a little bit on that?
So much as, of course, I am not disagreeing completely, but also there are very many factors at play here, right? So right now, social media will pay you for like things like engagement. Again, to me, this is about how much you communicate with your partner, how much you understand each other. Take it as acting, really. So in a world where I'm being paid for how much engagement I get and how much I can manipulate the algorithm to like really put out an opinion that might be or might not be degrading. Okay, again, I do not want to go to the part where there are people being hurt. I don't want to discuss where there are cases of people being hurt. So I don't want to take extreme content as that. But I'm saying in terms of like just really, I could really, really love my wife, but then have my opinions on, say, on social upbringing that are very different from hers, by the way. And I should be able to really openly just tweet my opinions. But again, we have like a relationship, right? So a relationship doesn't mean we have to have the same opinion. It means that we can always agree to disagree. So I need to have that. And that is what social media gives you. Then also the other thing you are trying to ignore away, social media cannot define what we call truth. Because right now, the biggest struggle I think people like Elon Musk are suffering with is there are very many more bots than actual accounts online, right? So again, they're men masquerading as women online. So you cannot really say that what this one is saying online is their truth. Again, it goes back to human interaction. So much as social media as a tool is really, really important, we cannot ignore the fact that we should know people for who they are and not how they're posing online, because there's so many factors that go into what I want to put there online. Now, for me, I'm a podcaster. Sometimes I understand negative bias is very, very important. I understand that some of the clips, actually, one of the scenarios I'll tell you guys about was sometime in 2022. So we hosted the vice president of the NUP party. Now the guys, so me, I host the conversations, right? Me and Kenneth host the conversations. In fact, this was Kenneth's conversations. But by then, at the production house, I was still in charge of social media. And one of my KPIs was, of course, to get the podcast trending so much and was supposed to like hit so many views. So in that podcast, I cut out a clip that where she's talking about the fact that maybe Bobby Wine is better than Besigye, and it went so viral that the party sat down, they wanted to fire her, but you had to listen to the long form podcast to understand where everything was coming from, right? So that is what social media does. It gives us those small bits of peaks onto people's life that are not really real. So I don't believe that we should really judge people from what is their identity they're trying to portray. And I believe we should go back to the human interactions where we get to know people for who they are.
I think social media can still show someone's red flags. We can defend it the whole day. We can still believe that we can see a walking red flag, don't you? That's some other people. So, guys, we have one more amazing person. I don't think I can describe what she does very perfectly. The way she will. So when people are knock and she tells us who she is, I'm very sure it will be very, very interesting. But one thing I'm very sure about is that she has amazing experience with couples. So I think we'll get one or two words about the social media, effective social media in relationships currently. I'm very sure maybe behind closed doors, those couples must be sharing their challenges about social media. So, yeah.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Oh, Christians, that's just peace be upon you. It's just Arabic word. So, yes, my name is Sharifa Namsisi. I am a marriage counselor. Let's Fix It Counseling on Instagram. I am also a sex therapist. I also an individual counselor in CBT and attachment theory. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you have to speak on effects of social media on relationships today.
Effects of social media. Well, for one of my boundaries, not really a non-negotiable, but a boundary, was that I cannot be married to a man who has social media. It was one of the things that I kept telling my partner. Yes, I know. Yes, look, people put things out there that sometimes they just want you to see. Sometimes they're not real. Yeah, sometimes they're just painting a picture of, oh my God, we're such an amazing couple, but closed doors, they're struggling. Well, every couple struggles. And for me, there is something about, no offense, gentlemen who post themselves on social media all the time, eating and, posing in the bathroom. Like, there is just something off about a man who does stuff like that for me. That's just my opinion. So that was one of the boundaries. Like I told my partner before we got married, I asked him, do you have Facebook? He said, yes. What do you post? So we go through it. He's posting his pictures, doing this, doing that, doing that. I'm like, okay. Do you have Instagram? No, I don't. Do you have Twitter? Yes, I do. TikTok? Yes, I do. Snapchat? Oh, Snapchat was going to kill it. If he had told me he had Snapchat and I didn't come out, it's like, I failed to use Snapchat. I'm like, okay, so what are you using Instagram for? Because if it's for work, I understand, right? But if it's for personal life, I personally am a very, very private person, right? So I wouldn't be comfortable with my partner putting my life out there or putting our children's life out there. So this is just my opinion. I don't know how any other person here thinks. But for me, it's a boundary. And he had to let go of social media. He wasn't using it for work. He wasn't using it for anything. So I kept thinking, if you're not posting yourself, you're not posting business, why do you have it? Well, he let it go. And it's the same thing for me. I know. Don't check your... Listen, I have social media, but if you follow me, you will not know who I am as a person, as an individual. You might know what I stand for in my profession, what I stand for as a mother, what I stand for as a wife, but you will never know who Sharifa Namsisi is without the title counselor. You will never know. Because no one can ever truly know me apart from my husband and maybe my best friends or something. And that's something I choose to keep for me. So I would like to think that social media can never truly show you who people are. And that is why it can be sometimes bad for marriages. Many of us are not working on social media and we are busy comparing ourselves to other people. We are busy trying to, I want what she has in my relationship. I want what he has in my marriage. So that's for me one of the issues that we have in social media today, the comparisons. Because I will come here and paint a picture. For some of you who have been following me, I think you might even think I have a perfect marriage because I'm always like, me, cheating, sikuma, which is, I think people be there thinking, oh, you're chick mama, she might have a perfect husband or whatever. But just because I don't stand for it on social media, you might think my husband cheats, nayenga, naguma. You get it? Maybe I'm painting a picture I want other people to see. No, seriously, social media sometimes can be a lie. Like 90% of the time can be a lie. So yes, it does affect relationships in one way or the other. For me, what was the other question?
No, that's it for now.
That's it so far. Oh yeah, that's it for now. Yeah. I was going to go on. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharifa.
You're welcome.
I don't know, from our audience, do you have someone that has a question about social media and relationships? No one? Okay, I think I'm going to pick someone else to answer one of the cards that you have on your tables.
Belinda. Belinda.
So, some
Alright, hello guys, what's up? Josh. It's my friend. But people say that so looking back on what got in this story, what pattern advice would you give yourself now? Be open-minded.
Be offended.
That's it. Don't carry your insecurities to the next one, but project. Be open-minded. And if you're not involved, it is well. Be open. Wait, let's take it over. Hello, speaking. Let's take it.
Where did you find that? Where did you find that? The desk. No, where? This part.
Yeah. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Nora. The question is, what I used to say varies in dating.
No Snapchat.
No Snapchat.
It's Snapchat.
As a topic, as a lady to my partner.
Yes, your partner.
Because just like she said earlier, I totally agree. No Snapchat. But what could be your social media all the time, except when it's your job or when you just post for LinkedIn, sounds right.
You don't agree? I don't agree. Okay. You should know like people body really it should be about people's freedom, you know?
So you feel like you
It doesn't have to be for work.
then what is
I
it
could
doing?
really see. I invest in this because I'm passionate about film and camera, right? But I do everything else. But the thing is, now that could be the thing. Guy could just really be travels, so he likes to like display landscapes. But because there's this whole thing,
Different. He's doing something. He's what? He's posting something. My husband isn't posting anything. It's just there.
he's waiting for the right time.
Yeah. No, constant.
Like it's gonna
Constantly
happen.
watching stories.
Yeah,
Constantly watching. No.
Hello.
Hi.
What I used to say story. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Benji. And my rules are also. I don't like somebody who's personalities, like people who take screenshots of like WhatsApp conversations and then post them on their status.
Yeah.
I also don't want somebody to post like personal moments like on their Instagram.
Right.
Or people who tweet like things that we great women or relationships like because that day like says if you're dating then you should be wanting to be in a relationship. So if you post about relationship not being that important, then so we have to be on the same
Page.
on the same page.
Okay, hello.
Hi.
I think we've already spoken about this, but yeah, I'm called Andrew King Bashasha. And the question is it important that your friends are close with your partner? I think maybe to some point there should be friends. Although,
What extent?
okay, it brings in some complications once in a while, but like let's say, so many people try to hide a lot about themselves, but you find that sometimes it's not necessary. Because you can be going through something, and maybe me as a friend, I would wish to like be part of your pain because what are friends for? So I would imagine that maybe to some limits they should be friends. Yes. Yeah?
Hi.
Like,
Yeah.
I guess okay, that's a bit tricky because sometimes okay, you find like let's say just give an example like we are dating and then this is our friend. But me, I'm proud being friends with her and everything is good. But you will find that for her, she's the jealous kind. So she'll always like take very simple things to be like those things. And like it's really like there's really nothing there. Because if I'm your friend, then why mess around with it like that? So yeah, serious.
Jokes.
Yeah, man. That's all. Oh, we have someone who's commenting on that. So, for instance, now they are okay. They are friends with now their girlfriend is friend, and now they have to go for out for drinks. So that be okay. Like now, you take a boyfriend who was going out with her. Just for your husband.
Yeah. That should not be a problem.
It is a problem. Your friends, let me have my friends. Why do we have to mix friends?
Maybe
Right?
that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it's something. It's obviously now, even though we're just like going to like have fun and like leave the place, like maybe I drop you at Tuesday and I go back. Still, there'll be questions around it. And like what I know with if a guy and a girl like stay together for long, something is bound to happen. So
No.
okay, for things like that, maybe no, but still be friends.
Mm.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
You have your friends, someone says. So maybe I can ask one of you guys. Do you think your partner's friends are your friends?
They shouldn't be.
They're not your friends. You've met your partner, you're married or you're dating, and then their friends are trying to really be friends with you. Can you ever be friends?
So I feel like also what we fail to understand is what friendship means.
If we're talking about the real kind of friendship, no.
Hi. My name is Vina. I don't think my partner's friends are my friends. Because I mean, if anything ever happened, God forbid, between me and my partner, I don't think they'll come and side with me. Definitely will side with him as his friends, so they're definitely help my friends. So you know it's being blessed.
Yeah, so I think most mistakes women make is we think like our partners, our partner's friends are our friends. I've seen that happen with my friends, me personally. That time has happened. And yeah, so I also agree that you cannot be friends and your partner's friends, ladies. Your husband's friends are not your friends. Unless you met them before or something and they connected you to your husband, but they're not your friends. Yes, Kelly?
Hi,
Mine.
Kevin's my name. So I have a question. So what if my partner's friends or my friends before we start dating? When we start dating, do I cut them off?
It's different. You just set boundaries. Mm.
So
But why are we assuming that the worst comes out of friendships?
okay. Thank you for that. Now we have our boundaries and all that.
Why are we pessimistic?
We want God. Right?
Also, a friendship you've even formed pre-existing. Why do you think you have so much power over it?
I feel like
Maybe with my friends who are her friends before. Chibo. Sticky.
yeah, it depends on the gender. See?
I think it depends on how much you trust each other and that gender thing. Yeah. You can't put green on fire sometimes.
Like we have trust issues.
So we'll be back for another round. Thank you for participating in this one. We are going to discuss the next topic. Let Sharifa share his review. We see her opinions and maybe the rest of the panelists' opinions. And you as well, you contribute to this.
Thank you. So the question is, can a relationship ever fully recover from infidelity? Can this be a bit interactive? Okay, we can talk about our exes. Yeah. Okay. Professionally, the couples who come in my practice and one of them has been unfaithful and they still want to make it work. And here's what I tell them. If you are not ready to put whatever happened in the past, let that person go. If you are not ready to forgive, of course, forgetting is very hard. But if you're not willing to forgive, and forgiving means you cannot keep bringing it up. I'm sure for many of us, you say, okay, I'm going to try again. Let's try. And then every minute, this guy is late by just 30 minutes. You call him, Kachorimba Malaya. Hey, I knew it. I knew it. If you are willing to stay and work through a relationship that has had betrayal in it, you must be willing to forgive. You must be willing to let that stuff stay in the past. And you must be willing to not keep bringing it up. So if you're not ready to do that, don't do this, because I do believe relationships can recover fully from infidelity. I have seen so many of them, but this can only happen if the partner who has cheated has learned a lesson. You must be able to see a difference in behavior, because in situations like this, the best apology is change behavior. It's not going to be words. Like, you can't keep telling me, okay, I'm going to change, I will never see her again, but you still come in at 3 a.m. every day. You still talk to the person. You've changed her name from Sarah to Kasasiro Guy. Like, it's for you to promise me that it is going to change. I must see a change. And by the way, I always tell the partners in such relationships that you must help this other person heal, because she's trying to heal in a toxic environment. I don't know if you've ever tried to heal in an environment that actually made you sick. It's really quite tricky. So a husband who has cheated has a part to play to help the woman heal. How? Can she trust you again? Are you going to be transparent? You need to reassure her. You need to show remorse. You need to make sure that what happened doesn't happen again. But you see, not so many of us can do that. Although I've seen couples who have actually healed and even had better, stronger relationships, some don't heal. Some people like us cannot heal. So, talking about our exes, some of us have been in relationships where our partner has cheated and we've forgiven them, right? I'm always talking about such people on my Instagram. I don't know how you guys do it. Because listen, I know we are different. And the biggest problem we have is that infidelity has been normalized, right? and someone will cheat. And if you come to your auntie, your mom, or even a friend, and you tell them, "Man, can you believe this guy did ABCD?" She'll go like, it rains everywhere. You see, that statement alone has normalized, has made it seem like it is okay for your partner to be unfaithful. But then again, we want healthy marriages. So I don't know what exactly we are looking for these days, because you cannot want a healthy marriage and also normalize something like that. So the answer is yes, a relationship can recover fully from infidelity. But I would like to note, I have done that before in the past. I have stayed with an ex who cheated, but I swear to God, things sometimes can never be the same again. And it also depends on the part they are playing after they've cheated. Are they helping you heal? If there is anyone here who is willing to share about their experience after cheating, I'll share mine. You know how you're in the bedroom and you're trying to get intimate with your partner, and all you can imagine is him on top of the other chick. And you cannot function. You keep thinking, so this is how you are sweating. Boss. Like everything changes. Like you keep looking at this guy like, bro. Mbako. So it is very, very hard. Like for me, that's how it actually came to be a non-negotiable for me. I tried to stay in the past. I really did. I'll be like, because my auntie would tell me, go back, go ma. Hey, no one again. So I said, okay, let me stay. I stayed for 4 years, and you guys, not even 4 days. So some of us, we are weak.
You stayed for 4 years.
Yes. I did. I was there for 4 years. Well, let me tell you, things were never the same again. So I think I'm one of those people who cannot tolerate infidelity. I think I'm one of those people. But there are people here who are okay with it. Like, they wouldn't mind. They're like, it's okay. Benz, you know those things. So, yes, a relationship can heal fully, but your partner has a part to play in helping you heal, and you also have a part to play in healing. Yes.
The examples you're giving are from the main cheating.
Yes.
When you're mentioning how they should help their women heal.
Right.
How do you think the women can help their men? Because the women cheat as well.
Yes.
How do you think the women can also help their men?
Should answer. Yeah, he might have experience.
I don't know really. I think it's very, very. It is on the individual if you're willing to like stay or leave. But I usually tell people this though. Look at cheating like smoking a cigarette. I don't know how many people here have smoked cigarettes before in their life. So I've smoked cigarettes before in my life, and that's the only one thing that I've just randomly done. Like there's no high, it's bogus. You're getting sick. You're just doing it because a few people are doing it. So, but then sometimes you do it because it's a feeling, it's just a moment, right? So depending on how your relationship is designed and what you're looking for it, so you sometimes have to take these things as that, yeah? Someone is in a moment, then something happens, right? And that's the reality of life. It is the reality of life. You want to go against it, you want to say otherwise, but sometimes that's that, right? What you have at stake, how you understand each other as like a couple is bigger than that. You have bigger plans. So do you walk away from all that because of this one disagreement?
Yes, that's not a disagreement.
So this is why I feel like the approach with which we take relationships is so bad. We should take relationships as business investments. And that is what, for me, I've decided in my life, right? A relationship to me is like a business investment. How I invest in my businesses, my personal businesses, is exactly how I invest in a relationship. So it is also with the mindset, like what's at stake, like, okay, we have this, right? We are agreeing that, you know what, we want to stay lifetime partners because, yeah, we want to raise children. We want to also really live a comfortable lifestyle. So we are putting together, maybe you are like my solace. I come to you. Are you guys just in relationships because of sex? That when someone cheats, someone has had sex with someone else, you cannot stay? Or is it bigger than that? Please. No. No, really, that is my take to it. That's it.
If you were cheated, you would stay.
I think I would stay, depending on how far we are in the relationship. Because the problem is,
right?
yeah.
if your wife cheated on you, you're 100% sure that your relationship will still survive that.
That's what I've just asked him right now.
Depending on how maybe I've invested in it, right? So my wife married, yeah. See, that's the thing. Yeah. So when I meet my wife, right, it's either I am at a stage of life where we are saying we're building things together, right? Or she has met me at a stage where I'm really, really so comfortable that I feel like her contribution to my life is very, very minimal. Apart from, basic things, emotional support, maybe take care of my kids in the morning, things I really can pay someone else to do, right? But I decide not to do that because, I've invested with a lifetime partner. Right? But then I told you something can happen, right? I can cheat. I don't want to, I don't want us to pretend she cheats.
Yeah, she's the one who has cheated.
What is she bringing to the table?
What do you mean?
Why should I stay? Yeah, it depends. What is she bringing to the table again in the relationship? Is it more than just, no, children, I can really get caretakers. Are we into so many heavy business investments that now it is just really bigger than the sex in the relationship? Yes. So we then agree. We come to terms of infidelity, because it comes with its repercussions. There is sickness and what. So now you see it because it can happen. Yeah, it's called living in the reality of things. There are things you simply can't run away from, and you could reach a stage in life where getting out of a relationship is more costly to you than anything else.
I think you're looking for a business partner, not a marriage partner.
I think it's almost the same thing.
No, it's not.
So you're saying, but you said before, it's like a business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in this business, what if this business keeps bringing more lawsuits?
You close it. Business, again, that's how business works. Once you sit down with the accountant, things are not breaking even year 1, year 2, you're putting in more money from elsewhere than what you're making, you close.
Another thing I wanted to ask, when you're with someone you love, are you in for the feelings, the emotions, the love, or you're just there to
invest?
Because the point you're saying, what is she bringing to the table? What is she doing? Is she doing this? I mean, that's like you guys are just saying.
So, two things, right? Two things with that. There's a bigger chance that before you really commit, you notice this. There's a bigger chance that you'll have better sex with a random woman than the woman you actually really, really love, right? There's that bigger chance. There's men here know this, that for a fact. There's a bigger chance that you'd really have bomb sex with a random woman than the woman you really love. Because you know what? You're not yet comfortable to have these conversations with her and whatnot. So love is a really, really big thing, right? So do I want to stay with this person because you know what? When I'm with them, I'm peaceful. I was on a date last week, so I was trying to tell this chick I was dating about something similar. I was telling her, you know what? I don't want sex from you because I really can't get that. I can pay for what? There are chicks on OnlyFans right now. You can just pay cash and get someone who's an expert at fucking you and they'll do it very well, right? But that is not what you want from the relationship. There's just more to build to that. So are you looking for a friendship, someone, this is someone I open up to, and that can be bigger than when they cheat. You want to understand them. Why have you gone to someone else, right? So the relationship actually becomes bigger when you look at it from such a perspective. You know what? What is this person bringing in the investment? Is it emotional support for me? Is it this person is really, really close to me that I get to open to them more than I can do with anyone else? I have probably not gotten that same relationship with my parents, and I can just now, this person, I found them, and it's okay for me to this is what I need from them. Then they would stay. The fact that they've had sex with someone else, I feel like that is such, it might be strong, depending on how you look at sex as a thing, but to me, there's much more at stake than just sex, really, in a relationship.
Do you know that?
Yeah, because you're having conversations. Of course, you now know that do I have to go back, but we're looking at it as the first time scenario.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sex is beyond that actual action.
It's emotional.
By the time a woman cheats on you, she's gone.
In a world where a woman is going to strongly first, no. In a world where, if both me and say the good gentleman Evans are the same things, we probably have the same bank account, we have the same body physique, we have the same friends and everything, the same car. If we walk in, if we don't have the same bank accounts, there's a bigger possibility that Evans will, if he has a bigger bank account than mine, there's a bigger possibility that he will have more women. So that nullifies the fact that no.
He's not. He's being logical.
Yeah.
Even being, in his own way, he's logical. I don't know. Perspective. I think he understands marriage differently, and we understand marriage differently.
Okay.
Oh.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I personally believe my relationship with them will just end.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Because to me, sex and sex is more emotional to me as a man. And I would say there's a point where he said that you can randomly have sex with a random woman, and it's better than, let's say, your woman sex. I think that depends on the role that both of you play in the relationship. Yeah. So to me, if my woman cheated, I think I would first of all blame myself. Why did they cheat?
No, please don't.
Yeah.
No. Cheating
Why
is a
did they-
choice. No, cheating is a choice. It has nothing to do with you as my partner. I chose to cheat. You could be a good guy. You could have all the money in the world. My goodness, look at you. You're very handsome. But I would cheat on you if I choose to. So you don't ever have to blame yourself. I wanted to first make that clear. Yeah.
But to me, if my woman cheated, I'll just let go of it because I know I won't be saving anything.
Okay, but realistically, what are the odds that in a world where, right, where you're very faithful to your partner and entered a room with a woman and your wife is never going to know about it, you're not going to have sex with them? What are the odds that you're going to stay faithful if your wife would never find out?
First of all, Mark is not looking for a partner for love. He's looking for a business partner. So if you're coming, come with a business acumen, come with money,
Plans.
come with, plans. Don't just come because your emotional support is not wanted here. He can pay for a therapist. Yeah. So I was just telling Sharifa that women are actually more forgiving of infidelity than men.
Yeah.
I've had this, my mom constantly repeats this, and there's a time we had a gathering and she was speaking to the girls and she was saying, don't ever cheat on your man because he will tell you he has forgiven you, but he will never forgive you. And for most men, when a woman cheats, that is it. Like he has said, for them it's, like I know even us as ladies, it's cheating is a serious thing. There are ladies who can't, for me as a person, when I get into a relationship, the very first thing I tell them, do anything, but don't cheat. Because me, I know I am fragile, I am weak.
Yes.
When you cheat on me, I will
hope that kills.
I might not get out of bed for a year. So just do everything, but don't cheat. But there are other ladies who...
The hope that kills.
The hope that kills. But there are ladies who have the ability to move past infidelity.
Yes.
And just to add on what I completely agree with everything that Sharifa said, but something that I'll also add is your relationship is not going to be the same after infidelity. Whether you forgive or you don't, or you stay because of, maybe if you're married and you're staying because of children, or whatever the reason, a relationship will not stay the same after infidelity. Either it will become stronger, better, but it can't go back to what it used to be.
Yeah.
But also, I think the person who has cheated needs to be able to give the person they have cheated on an opportunity to mourn the fact that someone has betrayed them.
They lost something.
I think we are so quick to be like, I've said I'm sorry. We are going for therapy. I am trying to do better. And you forget that you actually betrayed this person. Someone actually trusted you to be faithful to them. Someone trusted you with their heart. Someone trusted you with their love. And, even when we look at ourselves as individuals, there are people who are running after us even when we're in relationships. But the fact that you constantly, every day that you get up and get out of the house, you make the conscious decision to stay faithful to your partner. And this is even with emotional cheating, because many times we focus on only the sexual part.
Yeah.
But there's even the emotional part of you're now emotionally cheating. You know, you're talking to someone else about, I don't know, things to a depth that it should be with your partner. You know, you're seeking for emotional comfort, emotional refuge with someone else and not your partner. And you're hiding it from your partner. You know, I think there was like, okay, I think there was something that was going around on social media regarding is flirting cheating. At some point, are you doing it in the presence of your partner? Would you go and flirt with someone else in the presence of your partner? If you feel the need to remove that text from your chat after sending it, what are you doing? If you feel the need to clear a chat after, what are you doing? You're being dishonest, you're being distrustful, you're being disloyal. That is why you feel the need to remove it. I think cheating is beyond just the physical thing. It's you are giving to someone what you know would make your partner uncomfortable, what you know would hurt your partner. So you're hiding it. So it's, I don't know. Yes, I completely agree that relationships do have the ability to recover from infidelity, but it takes a lot of work, first of all. And then, yes, I've finished. I feel like it was a very anticlimactic end, but thank you.
It's okay. Does anyone else have a comment on that? Do you have experience as your relationship?
I miss.
So, you see, she mentioned something on emotional connection, right? Which now makes sense. So, would it be okay that your husband is only out tonight talking to another woman? They're not having sex, by the way. But you know what? He finds this peace with this other person because it happens. Where
Then we have no relationship. Because that's what makes a marriage healthy. The fact that you can be vulnerable with me, the fact that we connect on an emotional level. So if we can't connect, let's break up. Because I want all of you.
From very start, I always want to make things like in a straight line with my partner. I tell them my values, what I think that I respect, what my values basically. Because I will tell you that I want to be like this person who's educated in change everything, and I will tell you what I value, the things that I don't take in, the things that I take in, and once you go to the other side of it, there are many people talked about because it will be like an average in the very, very first place. Even before we go very far. Because I know what I want. I know what I want in the end.
So answering next. I'm answering next.
Even know what I want. Or if you cheat on me even before we go very far. Even that means like you crisscrossing, so they trust, because relationships, it's a work that you invest in. Just like you said, I will not take it like it's a business thing, but you invest in a relationship. In a relationship, you're going to invest like it. And if it's not working out, that means you are supposed like not to go very far. From my personal experience, I've been with a lady who I dated, and then I told her my values and everything, and she accepted. She was like, okay, I think I can do this and this and this. And then as we were rolling, she crisscrossed me and did something that weren't on my list of values that we discussed in the very first place. Because if she had told me that some things I will not do, this I will not do, I will not continue. But she accepted, and then she continued to lie and lie and lie. I don't know. Sometimes you can do, in a relationship, you invest in emotions and a relationship, you see that some things are not working out the way they're supposed to work out. Because some things are going to change. Someone's character is going to change. How they do things that they used to do is going to change. The communication is going to change. Just if, like, for the ladies, if they cheat, you don't. Because they don't go.
You will not know sometimes. Some of us are generous. Some of us are generous. We could cheat for years and you would never know, unfortunately. Yes. Same as men. There are men who've cheated. No manyanga mazekufa, they bring you kids and you're like, this guy has been home every day at 6 p.m. Every single day he's been home. Yeah. Yeah, lunch hour, yeah.
Very vast. You get to know this person because there is a way you are created like you can now you get to know you get to that part of you now know their emotions. Yeah, that intelligence comes in naturally. When you know someone is this way, you get to know your partner on a deeper level. Get my point. So when it's something that is not right, you will notice how much they are clean if you really, really invested in them. And if you really, really like spend some time. So this person did something I got to know, and just the fact that I even like push that I was supposed to.
So not a name.
My point is, I think with cheating with ladies and men, people are not supposed to take it lightly. Just sex. People invest in emotions and time that you're not supposed to play with like an animal.
You're right. Yeah.
So it looks like as Mark calls it an investment, it's very okay for him if their partner opens another branch of investment somewhere.
Yeah, it's okay.
They have learned that some men are emotional and others are not. No, we use logic to do the worst things. You cover up, you kill all your emotions in the name of logical. You're being logical.
Can I say something about that, please?
Yeah.
Dear gentlemen, I'm on a mission to debunk what you guys consider masculinity. Yes, because many men, and it's not your fault, because society has kind of programmed you to not be emotional, but you are human, and every human being is an emotional creature. You cannot tell me that as a man, you don't have moments when you feel sad. You don't have moments when you have fear. You don't have moments when you want to talk. He was just telling me that, what if there is this chick that I feel comfortable connecting with on an emotional level? You're already an emotional being. If you have that chick that you want to connect with on an emotional level on the side, you get it? So all I'm trying to say is, men like to say that women are emotional, men are logical. I do not believe that. You can be both emotional and logical, and it's still okay. Yeah, like you can still be a manly man with emotions. And for many of us now, we've realized that if you are not vulnerable in a relationship, it's not going to work, because men have mastered the art of, I'm going to provide. I gave you a car, I gave you a house, I'm paying school fees. What more do you want? And you're going to lose your wife. Many of you have lost your partners because you keep thinking that is all you have to bring on the table. And these women are always telling you that you don't make time. I never see you. You don't have time, because all they want more than what you're giving is emotional provision, right? So you'll notice that with time, you will have to learn, whether you like it or not, to learn to be vulnerable and learn to meet your partner on an emotional level, because it's not like all we want is sex and money. Yeah, just like he said, we can also get that from somewhere else. There are sugar daddies who want to give us money and sex. You get it? Yeah, but we don't want to have those things with them. I can have all those things with my husband. I can be connected with him on all levels, spiritual, physically, emotional. I can do all those things with my partner. So I just wanted to put that out there. Men like to always say that they are logical and we're emotional. They make it seem like we don't have logic. We are always using emotions to do things. No.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think I'm going to pick someone else to answer one of the questions you have in our hands. There's someone who seems to be happy in whatever they're in, so I think we should answer it. Yeah.
Hello. Hi.
It's really very much about being married.
Having someone who is my friend, okay, it's just not my husband, he's my friend.
Yeah.
So everything we do and relates to makes the marriage interesting.
Yes, girl.
There's so much.
Gossip. Hi.
Have you ever asked about looks? How do you really this experience? I'm happy to have my husband as a parent for me. And also having more than having someone that you can talk to and it's different experience. Many people say you have siblings and friends. There's certain things you don't get to your friends. There's certain things you don't get to your siblings, but you're comfortable speaking about them with your husband, your partner, sorry. So I think that's a privilege and something very important. Okay, so
Hello.
Hello.
Next. Yesterday, I looked at in a situation.
The silence says it all. They should define what a situation is.
Yeah.
How is it going?
the situation.
Because it's a situation shit. There's nothing to manage. Here. But how do they know that he's single? What if he's in a relationship, engaged even, situationship?
So I think I'm going to be able to. Why do I think I'm still single? So yes, choice. I want to be single because the moment it's coming, because the version of myself that I want to be, I want to be in a relationship, I have not yet reached.
I know. All right. Here. She wants to answer a question. You also want to ask.
Hi,
Hi.
my name is Sarah. Current needs, how How do you say I use love languages to show love. I use my partner's love languages to show I love them. So if there are 5 love languages, I assume everyone can stay. No, we don't. Yeah, so anyway, there's gifts, there's words of affirmation, there's yes, all those. So if my partner is a quality time person, so I should the other which quality time, this, acts of service,
Physical touch.
physical touch.
Words of affirmation.
Here. They're moving far away from me, but it's okay. I'll bring them back. I'm going to tell Brenda to pick you the next round. Don't worry. I got you. I know you want to speak. I got you. I got you. Oh, Brenda.
Hi, my name is Martha. The card says, what is the best part of dating you? I will always prefer you.
This is the one. That is what she brings to the table.
What is that?
Yes.
Oh, the good thing I have a child and a personal experience on that.
What? It's okay. They say there's experience. So the question I have is, can relationships withstand significant differences in parenting styles, or do these differences always inevitably lead to conflict? So do we all understand this question? It is. Can relationships withstand significant differences in parenting styles? So the question is basically around two individuals that have come together and they have been raised in different homes. They've been parented differently. They had different experiences growing up. So maybe one person came from a very loving two-parent home, expressing emotions, sharing whenever they were maybe hurt or offended, things like that. And then another person came from a home of, you don't talk in this place. What do you mean? What do you mean you've been hurt? So they grow up and they sort of mirror some of those behaviors even within their relationships. Yeah? So that's the first part. Then the question continues, or do these differences always inevitably lead to conflict? So I think the very first thing is, are we aware of how the homes that we have grown up in have affected the way that we relate with people? So minus just relationships, just even with our friends and with the world. Are we aware of those things?
Yes. Some of us.
Is there anyone who is not aware? I'm seeing heads nodding. Is there anyone who is maybe not aware, not fully aware of how the home that they have come from has affected the way that they relate to other people and to the world, or relate in their relationships? So we are all aware, yeah? So you're aware that sometimes your partner is not actually arguing with you, but every time someone corrects or extends criticism to you, you take it as an attack. Or the person is not shouting. You just always think people are shouting. Or you do actually come off as argumentative or defensive all the time. And yet to you, it's, I'm not arguing, I'm not being defensive, but you just grew up in a home where you had to sort of fight to be heard. Yeah? So we're aware of those things. So I think the very first thing is you being aware of the fact that you have those things. Because if you fail to refuse that, no, I don't do that, you're just always like, I don't do that, that doesn't exist, you're just not understanding me. It's constantly, you're just not understanding me. You're sort of not giving room for you to sort of learn how to do better in that area. So if it's communication, I think we always say communication is very important in a relationship. Not recently, but I've slowly got to learn that it's not actually communication, it's comprehension. Like you can communicate, but if the person has refused to actually comprehend what you're saying, that communication is not going to work. So it's almost like you get into a position where you're actually talking, but what you're saying is sort of hitting a brick wall because this person is not actually, they're not getting what you're saying. You're saying, I want you to be more present. I want you to be more emotionally supportive. And on this person's end, they're just thinking, but what do you mean emotionally? Like you want me to actually sit down and listen to your problems for that day? But I can, okay, you're stressed. I don't want to listen to what has stressed you, but I can pay for a spa. Yeah? But for you, what you want is for this person to be present when you need someone to talk to. But they're saying, I can't offer you that. So let me do this other thing. So when you go and you say, but you're not supportive whenever I'm stressed and all those things. And for them, they're like, but I sent you to the spa. Yeah? So it's like you're communicating, but it's sort of hitting a brick wall, right? So I do think that the way that we have been raised, the homes that we've been raised in, the parenting styles that we got exposed to have the ability to damage our relationships. But it's not that they will always inevitably lead to conflict. If two people sit down and two people are willing to work on their relationship. So it's also that I think sometimes we think that relationships are just going to be smooth sailing and easy. And when a relationship requires us to sort of work at it and sort of have these times that are not easy, that are filled with maybe a sort of back and forth, we get a bit uncomfortable. It's almost like people who have been in dysfunction for so long that when there's no dysfunction, they're uncomfortable. Familiar chaos. So when the chaos is just not there, you're like, okay, so are you hiding secrets very well? Do I need to check can I start something? So if you're not able to sort of come together as a couple and sit down and say, and also, by the way, guys, the way that you communicate some of these things is also very important. You don't just go to your partner and say, but you're ever arguing, like what's your problem? Ever argumentative, ever quarreling. The way that the person might receive it might not be very helpful to the relationship. So you also need to sort of learn your partner and know how to sit down with them and say, you know what? In our interactions, I've noticed that whenever I inform you of something that maybe you're struggling with or that you're doing wrong, you take it badly, or you respond very negatively, or you get defensive. What's wrong? Where does that come from? Like, I'm not attacking you. I'm not, being able to show your partner that you want the best for them or the best out of them. And that is what you're trying to do, and not trying to I have one up on you. So I'm just telling you that, listen, you argue a lot. And then even them, they're going to say, okay, but even you don't know how to talk. Like, you just say things, but they don't make sense. So now you're just listing problems, but you're not actually supporting one another. So the differences will not inevitably lead to conflict, but they do have an ability to lead to conflict. And the way that you avoid them leading to conflict is first, you gaining an awareness of how the home that you came from has affected the way that you relate. And actually, before you even go to how you relate with other people, is the way you relate to yourself. Sometimes you're not being defensive because of you're being defensive because you have an insecurity within yourself. So every time correction comes, you're so quick to defend because you feel like this person is saying you're not good enough, you have a shortcoming, you have a this. So it's being able to be aware of how your home has affected the way that you relate to yourself, to others, and to the world. Now, when you have that awareness, being able to be comfortable with the uncomfortable conversations that you need to have in order to ensure that you're not having that conflict. Or when the conflict comes, just being able to sit down and, I don't know if the correct word is, support one another, grow out of those situations or those places that you're in as a result of that. Yeah.
For that, I didn't see.
I don't have we got together? Okay. I've switched off.
Does anyone disagree with that?
You disagree?
No.
Can I disagree?
It's about you, Jane. Wow. That's the solution.
Just to add on to what she just said, she says it has an ability to lead to conflict, and I wanted to give an example how that can happen. Imagine you were raised by a narcissistic mom or a narcissistic father. I don't know if we know also about attachment styles. Some of us were never seen, were never heard, were never soothed. Our parents were not present. That now made us a bit anxious. Then we have some of us who are not even allowed to cry. I was one of those kids. I remember this one day, my mom didn't know how to drive, and we used to stay on a hill. So she did not, what is it called? Back in the day, yeah, she didn't put the handbrake. So I was in the boot trying to get things out, and the car as if tried to, come back. So I was so scared. I was crying. I was shivering. And she kept saying, Gamide, Ofunde. Oh, like, have you died? Have you died? Like, keep quiet. And from that day, I learned that as long as you're not dead, like, you're not supposed to, like, make it a big deal. Like, don't blow things out of proportion. So there are so many of us here who are not allowed to cry, who are not allowed to show emotion. And now we are doing the same thing to our children, right? And I've noticed that in my marriage. My husband is an avoidantly attached person. So for him, emotions are very overwhelming. Like if a kid is crying, he gets actually really disturbed. He's like, now why is she crying? And I'm like, she's 2 years old. She's trying to tell you something. Well, now what is she trying to tell me? I'm like, I also don't know. She's 2 years old. Can we change the diaper? Can we shower her? Can we feed her? So if you are parented in a way where you're not seen, you're not, your parent is not available, your parent doesn't see you, you're not soothed, that is exactly what you're going to do to your child. That is why she kept asking, are you aware of how you were parented? Because if you think that was the normal, because it was normalized for you, you're going to do that to your children. Now, for me, I have learned to call my husband out respectfully, but it's a way to show him that, yes, I understand where you grew up from, Baba Kuzanga Bajasi. And I was also raised that way, right? But I have noticed it, and I am trying this gentle parenting thing, you guys. But today I slapped my kid, and I'm like, gentle parenting, please come back. I'm really trying it. It's really, really hard because it was not modeled for me. So I am just learning. Someone would have thought that 5 kids later, I would know better, but I swear to God, it's hard. But now I have a husband who has refused to learn. Yes, and we have such marriages where your partner will tell you, you're spoiling the kids. He even tells me that you're spoiling the kids. So what I've done, and it's working for me, I don't know if it will work for you, maybe you'll find something that works for you. I call him out in front of the children. Like, for example, if he shouts as a child, why are you crying? I would tell my daughter to, please tell daddy that when he shouts at you, it makes you feel very sad. And he can communicate whatever he wants to communicate without shouting, and you can still hear him. You guys, you should see that drama in our house. A 3-year-old looking at her, but daddy, when you shout at me, it's bad. You're a bad boy. You're dead. And you see, if you have a reasonable partner, a mature partner, now that will be a teachable moment. I'll tell him, Dada, are you going to apologize in front of the child? Dada, are you going to apologize now? I want to watch him say he will not apologize. And yet he expects the child to apologize when she messes up. So you see, for me, that works for me in my marriage because it's a teachable moment for both of us where a child learns that, oh, when I do bad manners, I'm supposed to apologize and I'm not allowed to shout at just because I'm having a bad day. So what she asked you was a very relevant question. Are you aware of how you were parented? Because if it was normalized for you, because that was emotional abuse. Our parents emotionally abused us. Guess what? We are going to do the same things to our children.
Okay, I entirely don't disagree, but I have a question. I have a question. So where do we draw the line on what is the ideal way we want, yeah, regardless of what we know from our backgrounds and how we have been raised? So growing up, I thought my dad repeatedly kept saying this thing of ogenda kubiraba, right? Like whenever we could have these conversations of sitting down and, hey, you know what? Now I'm putting you at fault as the father. You see, now I have understood some things. I am in S6, so let's have this conversation. He would sit down with you and he would say, he'll tell you, man, ogenda kubiraba. You are going to see these same things reflect. Now, of course, almost like 70% of some of those things are reflected back in my relationships, and maybe, okay, I don't entirely raise my child so much, so I all the credit to the raising is right now to the mom. So that's important. Like I also trust her. She's to the men. The most important decision you make is who you
Have a
child with, really. So regardless of whether it's going to be long term or not, but yes, that should be a very key decision. And you must know that this woman is really, 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 really the person you want to be your own mom in this case, according to my uncles. Now, but the question there is, how do you know that this is the right type of parenting, right? Because you see, I recognize the trauma that was in my family coming up, right? So for me, it was actually very much. At some point, I was a last born, then I wasn't. Then I felt like there was not so much privilege around me, so I kept feeling some type of way. Yeah, growing up, but it's after a long time you realize that. But at least the fairness and uniqueness my dad had, what was he told me that, you see, being a man puts you in a position, and he told me this at a very, very young age. Being a man puts you in a position for you to know that you cannot guarantee how perfect life is going to be, right? You are going to see these things. He kept insinuating over and over again. You're going to deal with different scenarios and different situations. So to the both of my colleagues, that is what I want to know. How do you know that this is the right way of parenting? Because again, like your husband is right. Sometimes when you want to take the gentle way, we have seen people who have grown up with the gentle way from school and how they have turned out. So you cannot also neglect that. There's actually that very local saying of how rich kids are spoiled kids. Even Showmax and its series, there's Succession. It's entirely about that. Most of the richest people have to deal with kids who have drug problems and whatnot. So it's not entirely a myth. So how do you then know that this is the right type of parenting? Because what most people also do is they forget that it's very, very hard for your child to be your friend. So when I grew up, I had my child when I was 21 years old, right? I was making super cool money, so I thought I could have a family and all that. But my father kept warning me, told me, you see, these things are not about money, Mark. At your age, I had a house, I had what, but I was not yet married, because you see, there are some things you do not know. You naturally just don't go into. You have to like have a foundation of it all. So how do you know that? I had imagined that, you know what, when I reach about 25, I'll be playing basketball with my son. I had all these fantasies about having a boy. Luckily enough, God gave me a boy. So right now he's 9 years old, and things have changed from what I had thought. But yeah, how do you know that this is the right way of bringing up my child?
Well, I mentioned that I slapped my daughter today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I learned that the right way of parenting for me was to not make the same mistakes my parents made with me. My parents never connected with any of us on an emotional level. At 18, my elder brother was literally raising us. And there was a point after my parents died where we actually hated him because he abandoned us. I am realizing just now that at 18, he didn't know any better. Yeah. He was a child himself. So I am learning from my parents' mistakes. That's number one. Everything they never did for me, I am doing for my children. Number two, I am trying the gentle parenting thing to connect my children on an emotional level. But I am teaching my children that actions have consequences. You will not spit in food and I don't give you a slipper. You get it? My children must know that I'm not going to beat them for making mistakes. And I think that's one thing our parents always did. You were never allowed to make a mistake, right? So I am trying to learn from my parents' mistakes. And I'm also...
But also isn't like the punishment the fastest way a child could learn that mistakes have consequences?
No, we all make mistakes. Even as an adult, you're making mistakes. But imagine if you were punished for the mistakes you make. And what kind of mistakes are we talking about? So she has spilled her tea. She has written on your wall. She has stored something. Why are you beating her for things like those? She's a child. She's learning. She's growing. You don't punish a child for mistakes. You punish a child for bad behavior. But also bad behavior is something that would raise, like you sit down and ask yourself, okay, where is that coming from? She's 3, she's 4, she's 5. They are growing up. They don't know so much. They are learning as they grow, and you're supposed to guide them along the way. So imagine, everyone here knows, for some of us who were in Muslim schools, we were beaten so much that beating became normal. I would get out of the dormitory with a towel tied around me because I was so sure I was going to get beaten. It didn't even hurt anymore. Like, punishment didn't make sense anymore. But my child would come back with a bad report. I would look at it and I would pick out. She came back with a 2nd grade. And she was so terrified to look at me. She's in Form 4. And she would tell me, Mommy, I'm so sorry. I performed really badly. I told her, guess what? This is really amazing. Me, I didn't think you were even going to bring a 2nd grade, because China Chenta, sir, you get it. But me bringing a 2nd grade back then, I was beaten. My mom beat me. My dad came back home, he beat me. Now I'm a counselor now. I went back to school in 2022. 2020. I didn't even finish when you get it. Like, sometimes you sit down and wonder, seriously, the way we were parented was more of bullying. Like, our parents sometimes come up as bullies. Imagine you beating a 5-year-old child or mufida ko for what? Because I come here a good day. You get it? And just like I learned something recently, that if your child is good in basketball and they're failing math, get a basketball coach. This is real. Like, today, right? So the right way of parenting is, I think we learn from our parents' mistakes, and also check yourself. How are you showing up in relationships? What are those things that your partner is complaining about? For example, she gave very good examples. Why are you always defensive? Now go back to your childhood. Every time a couple comes in my practice, we always go back to their childhood. How was your relationship with your mother? How was your relationship with your father? You will start to hear stories like, my dad was never around. That child has already learned that it is okay for daddy to not be around. We already have daddy issues. Men have mommy wounds. You get it? Because of how they were parented. Why are you always defending yourself? Because growing up, I was always wrong. Like, there is never anything I said that made sense to my parents. I never had a voice growing up. So now I am fighting for you to hear me. I'm fighting for you to see me. So when your partner is pointing out things like that, it helps you go back and go like, oh my goodness, this comes from my mom. This comes from my dad. This is what they did to me, and see how it's playing out in my relationship. I would like to give everyone homework. Please allow me. Go back home and research on attachment theory. Find out what your attachment style is. It's going to help you understand how you are showing up in relationships and how that came from your childhood. And it will make so much sense on how he's asking, how do you know that this is the right way of parenting? Everything you lacked as a child, you give your child. And there is no such thing as spoiling a child.
Really?
Let me tell you. For as long as you understand that you need to correct your child when they're wrong. Discipline. Yes? And it looks different for every person. Mm-hmm. You cannot tell me that in the US or the UK, there are no well-behaved children. They do exist, but they are never beaten. You get it? So you cannot tell me that you spoil a child. I've had parents saying, no. What you're doing, you're teaching this child to soothe themselves. You're teaching these children to become little adults, to become independent, to not rely on you. As a child, you as a parent are supposed to be their safe space, right? A child is supposed to know, oh, mommy is there, I'm cool. Oh, daddy is there, I have nothing to worry about. But now you're teaching them that, oh, no, you cannot rely on me. Where's it say? Keep quiet. And we think it is normal, but it's not. So those are the children you're going to find just like you, because you seem like an unavoidantly attached person who are like, relationships in our way. It's a business investment.
No,
seriously.
I've suffered so bad also.
You see, that's the thing. Exactly. So you have to go back.
Like, I've used previous data to know that, what, this is the most accurate way for me to move forward.
And where did you learn that?
From previous relationships. And it's very, very important to observe and know that, okay, this has not worked for me, this hasn't. But the question I wanted to ask there was...
Let me say something to you.
Okay. The microphone is
So
what you heard, the other question.
Your question is around what is the best parenting style for a child.
How do you know?
How do you know that this is the best parenting style for my child? Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Can I say this?
That's the general question. Oh, okay. I think first of all, what is parenting? Like, what is the essence of parenting? What?
Custodian. I think that's what people really, really mistake, right? When you're a parent, you're just a custodian for the child. Because
Custodian
you're
is
not
like
really supposed to be their friend. It's
caretaker.
very hard. Yes, you're just a caretaker for the child.
I actually don't even agree with the entire concept of a parent can't be their child's friend. Because now, personally, I've had the very, very awesome privilege of having the mother that I have. And my mom has been our mom and our friend from the very beginning. That even now, as an adult, we're not struggling to have a relationship. I remember from as young as like S2, there's someone who joked and told me, but do you know your mom is going to have a key to your house when you get married? And it was, we are so close that she's my mom, but she's also my friend. Of when I'm in trouble, I don't have to, those things that people do of let me look for the friend to call. The friend that I'm going to call is my mom.
Wow.
Because I know my mom she will be a mom, but she has the ability to first say, okay, right now, let me be her friend. Right now, what she needs
is a friend.
And then I will be her mom. Okay. So I do believe that it's possible for you to be a parent and a friend to your child. You just need to know how to sort of draw the boundary of there are times when you need to be a mom, and that means a mom or a dad, and that means you're going to be what a mom or a dad needs to be. So which takes me back to what is the essence of parenting? Because as a parent, there are things that you're meant to offer your child. And as a parent, that is the physical that is a home, food, things like that. The emotional, the financial, that's like school fees, stuff like that. So in the parenting style, the way that you're going to parent your child, are you providing them with everything they need in the different categories of like as a human being? How are we going to tell that you are an all-round person? Yeah, we're going to look at your relationships. How do you form relationships? What do your friendships look like? Have your parents supported you in your ability to make friends, or have your parents told you that friends are useless? Like, what are friends for? Because as a parent, I'm not a parent, but I'm going to say I should for in the future. Mm-hmm. But as a parent, I should be able to create space for my child to make friends. Yeah. You know, as a parent, I should be able to create space for my child to express themselves emotionally. As a parent, I should be able to create space for my child to perform in the best way at school, either academically or in their extracurricular activities or whatever it is. As a parent, I should be able to watch my child grow in a healthy manner. If my child is struggling with acne, I'm not just going to look and say, well, how old are you? 15, it's the age. Meanwhile, the child is struggling with an insecurity. They walk with their face down. They don't want people to look at them. But for you, you've just turned it to, that's the age. You're not supporting them with it in any way. So it's the physical aspect, the emotional, the mental, the relational. And so as you're parenting this child, are you ensuring that they are growing in all those areas? And you parent children differently. You're not, the way you parent maybe your first child is not how you're going to parent your second child. You look at your child as an individual. So it's for one child in your house, you will know this one, unless I punish them, they're not going to learn. But then you'll also have a child who is like, this one, all I need to do is talk to them. For them, the knowing that I am disappointed in them is enough to cause them to change their behavior. But for another, it's that this one you have to beat them. Then for another child, it's you have to maybe withdraw something from them. And it's also, you get to know your child. Because you're not going to parent a child that you do not know. So if you're not there, what are you parenting? You're going to come and you're going to beat because you think beating is the way, but you're not there to actually know that this child is the type of child who just needs you to talk to them and they will change. And that's why Sharifa used the example of you cannot say that there are no children in countries where people are not beaten who are good, well-behaved. Because you learn your child and you parent them according to who they are to make sure that they are growing in the areas that they need to grow in to become an all-round adult or an all-round person or an independent person.
Okay. So I don't disagree with what you're saying, but when you look at the greatest families, right? Say the Fords, the Toyotas, Steel, say which other family? Is as
What
great.
makes them
When you
great?
look at they've made money, they're successful, they've made history, their history is there. It's on record. They've done great things, they've done life-changing things, right? So they've had models of how they want, say, their boys to be, right? And the boys have to follow that type of model to take over, because it's a proven model, it has worked. So you cannot, in some cases, you can't wash away something like that because.
But do you know you don't know how those children have been raised? You quite literally do not know how
We are
those children
reading
have been
about
raised.
how, you're just reading.
You think you know, but you don't.
True.
The reality.
You were not
different.
there at that table when they told them, if you do not excel in this, you're
out of the wheel.
You were not there when certain things were being communicated to them the way that they were. You were not there when they had the strict things strict timetables, strict disciplines and things like that they had to get to. So you know as much as they have allowed you to know.
Yeah.
You do not know what was happening in the background when it comes to how those children were raised.
That's true.
So you just look at your child and then
I think you get to know your child.
Yeah, but I still strongly think being their friend is very out of the box. And this is because, you see, I was having a conversation with my dad as to why he was always distant, but most of the time I was out of the country.
Listen to our 3 people conversation, but I know you're trying to listen to.
So being their friend is hard. It's a fantasy.
Our parents.
Most of the cases, you're just their custodian.
Yes.
Because you see, you're supposed to maybe do a provision. You also have like a life to live.
Yeah.
Being their friend means you have to be the friend who is understanding. And again, when it comes to the fact that you are also the breadwinner, there's only some stuff you can understand like a friend would. Right? Because for you, there's a lot of at stake. You're almost, again, it's a business, you're risking, you're investing. Yeah, we're almost done.
Almost done, because we had one.
Yeah, let's do the last stand.
Yes, I think we can stand.
Okay. Can couples therapy truly salvage a troubled relationship, or some issues are beyond resolution? Can couples therapy truly salvage a troubled relationship, or are some issues beyond resolution? So when couples come in, I usually tell them that there is no magic in therapy, right? The work solely relies on you and your partner. When couples come in, always they assume I'm going to tell them, "Kachkola bot, va yomovide, go, leave that man alone." No, we don't make decisions for you. I also don't have the power to fix your bad behavior. So when you come to therapy, there are some realities that we will point out after we've had a talk, and it is upon you as a person to do the work. Now, this is what I do every time I have a couple. I leave them with homework. And 50% of my couples never come back. Or 50% of my clients never come back. Because I will tell you that I cannot see you for a second session until you have done that homework. The reason I do this is because I do not want to waste my time, your time, and your money. You will come in and I'll tell you, you need to work on your tone. You need to work on your silent treatment. You need to work on how you communicate. You need to work on your abuse, the emotional abuse. I will point out so many things. And I'll tell you now, can you go back home and try this? Like, I'm always challenging you to do better. And then you'll find that the wife or the husband is calling to say, "So madam tayagala kudda. Ever since we left your place, ebintu byatugamba kola tabikola." So this goes to answer that, look, couples therapy can only fix or help a troubled relationship if you both want it to work. That is just it. And we've also heard of people who tell you that don't quit, never give up, don't go to bed angry. You know, they're always putting out information like this. And I am here to tell you, please always know when to quit in a relationship. Please always know when to leave in a relationship. Some of us are not meant to be married even. And that's also okay. No, seriously.
But how true can you believe that?
No, it's true. Let me tell you.
That now it is me, the good Jesus picked out that for me, let me not be married.
You have tried 13 relationships. Zona ziganye. You have 7 baby mamas. Bona biganye. what are you, I mean, well, and you see, the problem is it's always us. You know how we are always saying that, look for the right partner. You guys, there is no right partner. We are all a work in progress. And unfortunately, some of our partners are not even doing the work. Like, for example, I personally started doing the work in 2020. Lockdown unleashed. Okay, guys. I never want to talk about my story, but imagine, until 2020, I didn't know I had an anxious attachment. So someone who is anxiously attached is very needy. They're very clingy. They require assurance all the time. And they're very mistrustful. They have a fear of abandonment. So I used to stress my husband to the maximum. And I remember this one time we were driving, and I usually do a relationship check-in, and I asked him, what's the one thing that you hate about me that you'd like for me to change? You guys, he didn't even think. Like, the answer was just at the, like, it was already there. So if you have such honesty amongst you two, I feel like anything can be fixed. If you are a safe space for me and I'm a safe space for you, I think anything can be fixed. If you have made a conscious choice to stay with me and work on everything that I tell you is a problem and that you work on that's a problem, I think everything can be fixed. So yes, couples therapy can help a troubled couple only if the couple is willing to do the work. If you're not willing to do the work, there is nothing I can do. I do not have magic. And also, like I was saying, some issues, yes, are beyond resolution, and you need to know. You cannot come in and tell me, this man has beaten me 7 times, just in the past 6 months, and then he has 4 baby mamas out there. Then I also found out, I had an STD just 3 weeks ago. What do you expect me to tell you, honestly? And then we have this issue where we go for therapy when it is too late. There's some couples who come in, and I'm just going to listen for the 90 minutes. But I know, because you're talking and I'm thinking. There is this girl who came in, she was telling me, I really want him to choose me. And I kept asking her, why do you want him to choose you so badly? And she kept telling me, so look, he has 3 wives, right? And I'm a side chick, right? But he promised to marry me. It's been 6 years, and he promised to marry me. So he got me a home. I live comfortably, really well. And I'm thinking, this is never going to work. He has not married you for 6 years. There is a reason why. He married the first 3 women. I don't even think they had to beg for this long. You get it? So yes, some issues no one can fix. It's an individual duty for you to work on yourself and your partner to work on yourself. All you come for here is support, right? So yes, marriage counseling can help. But there are some issues that cannot be resolved. And from this takeaway, I'll just tell you, you guys know when to give up. It is okay. It's really, really okay. You're just pulling groups. Yes. You try, you're forcing it. So exactly. You know when. You can also tell.
Can you?
Yes.
When you live in a world where almost everything conforms, don't forget even red flags. Everything conforms to persist. The more you're consistent, the more things work. Like once you believe that, you're so... I strongly believe I really had an attachment problem. So I would... Also, the chase is very interesting, right? Okay, now for me, I've not been married, so I don't know what happens in marriages. But just chasing a girl, most of the times you're like, you know what? Let me give it my best shot. Let me go back. If your heart has picked that one person, right? Yeah. And you feel like, you know what? I think about them when I'm waking up. I think about them when I'm going to sleep. So when do you know that whatever I'm doing... Okay. So even if the energy is not reciprocated. Yes. So, but you feel like, you know what, to win, you have to put in the work. So when do you know that this work is not enough for me to put in?
Okay. First of all, I'll give an example of someone who wants to go back to their ex. Yeah. And then my office crying, oh my gosh, Sharifa, I love him so much. But we broke up. The first question, I'm like, there's a reason why you broke up, right? So let's start there. Why did you break up? Okay, he's been cheating. I found condoms in his bag. And then the other day he was really verbally abusive, and then he broke my phone. And I'm looking at you thinking, okay, so you want to go back to a man who has been cheating on you? Yes? Yes, I do. I miss him. Okay, so last time he verbally abused you, he told you you're very dumb, you're stupid. Yes, he did. Okay, and I'm looking at you thinking, am I speaking English? Like, are you listening? Because how do you know that what you...
But it's an emotional problem, right? Like, my heart really wants this person. How do I deal with that?
Problem. Why would you want a person who is treating you like trash? I think that's where we start. Why would you want... Because I asked the girl the same question. why do you want this guy to choose you so badly, but he treats you like trash? And I always ask these people, how does your partner leave you feeling? The things they say, the things they do, how do they leave you feeling? And they're like, I feel so bad. I'm so lonely. I feel so miserable. I am so frustrated. I walk on eggshells. I even fear the guy. And I'm like, then why are you dying to stay in that relationship?
But because you want to be forgiving, because you know what keeps a very good relationship is you being forgiving, you being kind,
no.
what no, that was the thing.
No. I think we are now misunderstanding what compromise and sacrificing are, because you're sacrificing yourself. You're like, now I matter. Like nina kufira wano echijachije, I love him. That's what we are doing, and these things have been normalized for us by our parents. Because we've seen our parents, go through it all. Like they will cheat on your mom, the father will sleep with the maid, your mother will stay. You fire that maid, they bring another one, he will stay. Then ajade mukaza tunda manda, and the mother will stay. One thing, we are not doing those things. First, we are going to leave.
But even beyond, I think beyond that as well, I think there's a sort of line of dysfunction to look at there, because some of the situations that we stay in, I was talking to someone and I was telling them that there are needs that are fulfilled even in places of dysfunction. Yeah. So even when you are in a dysfunctional relationship, like if you find someone who is wanting to stay in that relationship, there's a need that is being fulfilled there. And sometimes it's something as simple as, listen, no one has ever picked me. Like
the insecurity.
Exactly. Like I have lived 25 years on earth and no man has ever come and said that they want to be with me. This man came and he said he wants to be with me. And that was the first time I ever felt like someone was choosing me. Someone was seeing me. So even when all this cheating is happening, for this person, it's that they still picked me. So it's, I think sometimes it's also looking for what is that need that is being fulfilled in that place of dysfunction. It's like, even in some of our friendships, if you move away from relationships, some of our friendships, there are friendships that we have that are like, you're really just in a toxic friendship. Really in a toxic friendship. But then you're looking and you're saying, how do I then become that person who is 27 years old and has no friend group? Because according to you, every person who is 27 years old has a group of friends that they chill with. So now you have these 4 or 5 people that you're constantly chilling with who hate you. Like they literally hate you. But because you want to fit or you want to have a group that you belong to, you're letting it pass. So it's also looking for what is that need that is being fulfilled in that place of dysfunction? What is that insecurity? What is that fear that you're sort of so afraid of facing or so afraid of dealing with that you would rather stay in a place of dysfunction? And until you actually allow yourself to come to terms with the fact that, okay, listen, there's something that I'm struggling with within myself that constantly has me staying in these spaces or these places that I need to work on. Until I work on that thing, I'm constantly going to find myself in that place over and over again. But also, even when you talk about couples therapy working, I think there are times when I personally don't like talking to couples. I don't like it at all because I just don't, it's very tiring. And then sometimes you find, guys, just go first work on yourselves as individuals. Yes. Because many times you'll find that you just have 2 people who are too broken together, and as couples, you can't help them because in couples therapy, you're working on the both of them, but then you find, okay, but this issue is stemming from this person's individual life.
Right.
And it does not matter how much we try to put you guys together and say, okay, so go and work on your communication, go and your silent treatment, go and Panag. You just find, like, listen, just first come as a person, and if you work on yourself as an individual, then your relationships will be okay. But people don't want to work on themselves as individuals. And let me tell you, I said this even as personally as an individual. I know how hard it is to be the one on the side of like, as a therapist, to be on the other side, that's to be the client. And I think even my therapist was like, you're not serious. Like, you you're a bad client. Because I understand how hard it can be to face some of the things that you feel like, listen, I would rather pretend that this pain does not exist, or that this trauma does not exist, or that it's not affecting me. I would rather go through life like it's not there. But the fact is that it's there. So I understand how hard it is, how hard it can be to work on yourself. But until you work on yourself, you're going to struggle when it comes to relationships. And couples therapy it won't work because your struggles are starting as an individual. Yeah. Back to Keron.
I think we're done.
Yeah, literally.